It's the Sports Peninsula podcast coming up. We're talking boxing as we preview another highly anticipated fight between Vasiliy Lomachenko and Devin the Dream Haney for Haney's undisputed lightweight championship of the world. Seeing two great fighters competing with a championship at stake is a rare treat for boxing lately. So we'll break down the tail of the tape and give our predictions next. Now here is your Sports Peninsula team.
Well, here we go. Sports Peninsula podcast in the house tonight. Today, previewing a May 20th bout taking place at the MGM Garden in the city of Las Vegas, Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Lightweight championship fight. We're going to be talking about it today. My name is Andy Scheel. I am here with two great guys that are going to be talking about this fight in a little greater detail. First, we have one of our partners in crime. So do that. I'm usually on the other side of this coin, and I'm doing a little emceeing tonight, which is, you know what? Hey, sometimes you got to bat. In my case, right-handed, and like for you, it'd be left-handed. Mike, I'm not sure. Are you a righty or a lefty?
I'm a righty.
Hey, you'd be swinging from the left side of the plate tonight. I'm a little unorthodox for me, but nonetheless, Dave Druzinski, Drew, and the great Mike Big Chops Mills from the Steel City.
Yeah, man.
Down West Pennsylvania, man. And how you doing tonight there, Mike?
I'm good, fellas. It started off, I'm originally from Pittsburgh. Well, I tell people Pittsburgh is a small town 20 miles north of Pittsburgh, but I've been in Atlanta, Georgia since '98. Came home. My mom was rushed to the hospital. She's good now. Everything was taken care of, so that's good. So as soon as she was in the clear, I had to get a hold of Drew. I was like, man, I got. We put this off 2 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I had, but now I'm ready. I'm ready for this one tonight, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be a spirited podcast session. Drew, how are we doing this evening?
I'm good, Coach. I'm ready to go. I mean, Chops is right, man. We've been talking about this fight for a long time now. I mean, we've just been starving for a fight where there's just there's championships on the line, the unified lightweight championship, and two of the best fighters we've seen in the last probably 5 to 10 years in that weight class. So yeah, getting ready to go, man. Let's roll.
Fight we're talking about is this Saturday, May the 20th, in Vegas, as mentioned before. Undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world between Devin Haney and Vasiliy Lomachenko. The Dream versus Loma. So this is a big one. And you know what? I mean, just, throughout time, these kinds of fights, regardless of weight class. This is not going to be an episode or a discussion that's going to go through the history of boxing or anything like that. We're going to focus on, 2023 in the lightweight division. But specifically this fight, and really, though, where this could go and could take us a little bit further. Devin, the Dream Haney, is undefeated. He is not lost. We've seen character profiles of champions like Devin Haney start off in that light heavyweight division, be very successful, and before you know it, their trajectory is off. They're gaining weight. They're moving up weight classes, and is that kind of something that you could see if a Devin Haney? Chops, if Devin Haney was to win this, is he a guy that's going to be looking to soar up into the welterweights and beyond?
Okay. I don't even know where to start with that. Here's why I say that, and I don't know. Because I'm going to say some things tonight are going to be real controversial. I'm going to just keep it honest with you guys.
It's okay.
Okay. Lomo's 35. Hypothetically, if Haney was fighting a 27, 28-year-old Lomo, to me, it wouldn't even be. We'd be picking Loma to walk through him. To me, Haney is a great, please, fellas, basic fighter. And when I say basic, you're not worried about him knocking you out. You're not worried about him throwing massive combinations that trick you up. You're expecting him to come in behind the jab because he's tall, he's long, and he's big. So I'm not expecting him a whole lot to move up, because once he moves up, he's going to be with guys that can be just as tall, and they're going to be just as big. So I don't know. And fellas, but here's my thing. If he wins, have you seen enough from Devin Haney to say he's ready to move up and take on bigger and better fights? Because go through his record. Who is his biggest fight? Before this one, who's his biggest fight?
Well, that's a great point. Exactly.
I mean, think about it. And don't forget, let's keep it 100, fellas. He only has this belt because Loma had something bigger to do, and that was fight for his country than box. You know what I mean? Because Loma, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping the kid does well, but I'm a Loma guy. I like Loma. I really do.
Well, it's certainly. I mean, you look at the inside of his right bicep, and he's got the 2012 London Games on there. So I mean, you are talking about a seasoned guy. Devin Haney. Here we go, 29-0, 15 knockouts. I mean, now I understand this is the lightweight division, and fight.
Exactly.
If you look at it, I mean, we're not talking about Iron Mike type totals here, where he's basically. I mean, if you can get a UD against this guy, you're something else. Now that's something that usually happens. But yeah, his signature fights. He's got George Kambosos, Joey Diaz, and then this fight against Gamboa, where they're all unanimous decisions. Just like you said, he's not going to knock you out.
Think about this though, fellas. Most guys, when you're young like him and you're trying to come up, they will curate your fights. They will make sure they pick guys that might give you that you'll walk through it first, pad your stats, get knockouts, then give you a little bit tougher competition, not tomato cans, but you should still win. And I would just think with his size, you would expect, and I know every other fight sounds good as a knockout, but I would have expected there to be a few more knockouts at 27-0. I would have expected that, but he's not a power puncher. Not to me. I don't think you fear his power. I don't, but that's why we're here to talk about it.
Yeah.
Drew, to you, who is Devin the Dream Haney? Who is this guy?
Great question, Coach. And I think Chop's kind of touched on it a little bit. He's straight up. I like to call that textbook. He's a very textbook boxer. It's pretty to watch. When you call it the sweet science for a reason, and he's a textbook fighter. His punches are thrown exactly the way you're taught to throw them. When you name it, he's got it. Not a lot of pop behind it, mind you. He's got decent speed, but I wouldn't call him lightning quick. I think that's an advantage Loma has in this fight. He's still just so slippery and quick inside. But the key here is, to me, Devin Haney is probably, you mentioned weight class. He's gonna struggle to stay at this weight class for much longer. And I think that's a fair statement, and that's what happens when you're in youth. I mean, hell, when I graduated high school, I weighed 145 pounds. I ain't touched that in a long time. Okay, and it wouldn't be healthy for me to do it now either. So I mean, these are kind of things that happen, and he admitted that too. He said, and I've seen people writing about that. He's gonna walk around about 155, 160 pounds. That's a lot. That's a large drop. But again, if he moves up, that levels the playing field considerably, and I don't like that scenario for him, Coach, at all. And guys, I just think that his success is going to be in this weight class, maybe at 140, but not much further than that. He's going to be challenged. But I'll tell you what, in his defense, now if you guys saw him in the last couple of days, he looks in impeccable condition. I got to give him straight credit. I mean, he looks really good. So, but here's the problem. And Chas, I wanted to ask you about this. I just read this. The weigh-in is tomorrow at 9 a.m. The fight is Saturday night, so Pacific time, probably 9 p.m. So he's got a 36-hour window to rehydrate. That's interesting.
Yes. Yeah. But see, here's the thing. I don't know how much that matters to him, because have you heard about him having trouble making a lot of these weights?
No.
And even when he does make the weight and he comes in the next fight or two, he doesn't look ballooned. He doesn't look like he gained a whole lot of weight. Now, I think here's the thing, Drew. If he has the 36 hours to hydrate, is it going to help him or hurt him? And I say that because he's not a knockout guy. People born round don't die square. He's not going to become a knockout guy with a power puncher in 36 hours. However, Lomo cannot give away these first few rounds, as we've known Lomo to do. If Lomo comes in and challenges him from the opening bell, if you rehydrated, put on 10, 12, 13 pounds, whatever it is, in 36 hours, will his gas tank, Haney, will it be able to absorb that? That will be interesting on that aspect, because fellas, I really don't think he'll, and even regardless of what he puts on, he's still going to look sculpted, like a cartoon character when he comes in. But fellas, Loma's a different breed. He's significantly better than Kambosos. He's significantly better and different fighter than Jorge Leonares. He's different. You know what I mean? And I love Haney. I got to give him all the props in the world. But there comes a time when a textbook fighter, I hate to say just doesn't work, because you always want to say textbook works. But there's some guys like Hearns. When he fought Hagler had a great jab. He wasn't as textbook as Haney, but he had a great jab, like he could work in behind the jab. But when he fought Hagler was like, no, this is going in the streets. We're taking you to the streets, and you can't be textbook. Can Haney adjust? Can he adjust? That's what's because Loma's going to drag him into deep waters. Loma's going to drag him into the deep water. I'm interested to see how that goes. I really am.
Good point.
I'm interested. So let me ask you guys something. If and we know he's a tactician, we know I hate to say basic, but he's great at his skill set. But if he as in Haney had much more to give, I think we might have seen it against Kambosos, because he whipped Kambosos from pillar to post every round, but he couldn't knock him out.
I know,
fellas. I understand maybe not every fighter goes for the knockout, but when you're that much ahead on scorecards, you got to at least be trying for it and hope that knockout comes. And that, as long as Loma is on his feet, he will pressure you, and that thought of getting hit by that left is going to be there. So I'm interested to see if he's going to be the tactician, the boxer, all 12 rounds at some point. And and don't forget, Kambosos was able to hold, or should I say, Haney was able to grab and hold Kambosos when Kambosos got in close. Loma's not going to stand for that. He's going to throw those elbows. He's going to throw those.
Yeah, I think we lost Chops there for a second, but no, what he's saying is just spot on, Coach. And now we got Chops back. Now here we go.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Finish what your thought was.
Loma's not going to stand for that. So if you bring Loma in close and want to hold him, he's going to fight to get out of that. He is going to fight to get out of that, where Kambosos waited for the ref to stop it. Loma's going to dig that body. Fellas, I'm interested. It's going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one.
Well, let's shift gears into Lomachenko. Let's talk about Lomo some more. Let's get a little bit more in depth in this guy. And I tell you what, you talk about dragging people out to deeper waters. Those are words that run really, really, really strong here on this part of the country here. That's Dan Campbell type talk.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're speaking our language when we're talking dragging people out into deeper waters. That we like that kind of stuff here.
Yeah,
we really, really like that. So
absolutely.
So we much appreciated, man. Let's talk about the former champion a little bit more. Chops, you were really leading us into kind of his mantra, his style, what he's going to kind of bring into the ring with this, and how he's going to counter what really is that kind of tried and true, almost low. If there was a logo to a fighter, if there's a film that you would do to just introduce them into boxing, the style, obviously you would show a guy like Devin Haney, and it was somebody that you could show. That's the orthodox kind of basic style.
Yes.
Vasiliy Lomachenko is left-handed.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
But here's the thing. Hagler said it years. You R.I.P. to one of the greats. Hagler said it's hard to get motivated to do your road work when you're sleeping on $5,000 silk sheets. But Loma was 396-1 in the amateurs. So you know he was back 400 fights in amateurs, fellas. That's unheard of, fellas. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, Loma has less fights technically than Haney, but a much more impressive fight roster than Haney. Loma, when he's worth millions, did not have to give up his belts and go fight for his country, but he did. Fellas, this guy likes to fight. It doesn't matter. He likes to fight. Haney, I love him. I love him and his father working together. I love what Haney stands for. I love the way he approaches the fight game. But Lomo's a different animal. Lomo does this because he wants to. He likes to. Yeah. He likes it. And I just think, man, it just, when it comes down to late rounds and we're both banging, we're both tired, we're both getting hit to the body, who's been there, who can keep going at it, and who likes it, who doesn't get worried that they're there. Fellas, Loma's a different type of cat than Haney's ever battled. That's how I look at it.
Champion at the feather, the super feather, and that lightweight, Drew. This is a guy that's, got some knockout power and chops. He paints him as a warrior. This is a guy that he's pretty universal when it comes to taking on some adversity and being able to handle the heat. Mm-hmm. What are we looking at when you see Lomachenko?
It's a tale of two cities here. You've got the textbook tactician in Haney, and then you've got the slippery, unorthodox southpaw in Lomachenko. He's unorthodox. He finds, and what I love about how he can find angles, he's one of the, and Tank does this too. They're able to slip and step out versus feinting backwards or sideways. They step almost like at an angle, and they set themselves up for a beautiful counter, whether that's an uppercut or actually a cross. And that's scary stuff inside. I mean, Chops, I hear in past episodes, you've talked about fighting in a phone booth. This Loma can do it. And he likes to fight in the mid-range, which now there's a 5.5 inch reach advantage for Haney, which is pretty significant. And we know, honestly, Lomachenko can't really fight any higher weight class than this. Where Haney, it's the opposite. So they're kind of going in different directions in that sense. So yeah, big advantage for Haney in terms of overall size, but you're right, Chops. Lomachenko is going to make him very uncomfortable inside. And I think the key here, Coach, is the age difference significant in the sense that has Loma lost a step? I don't know. I don't think so. But when you look at his last 3 fights, one, the loss to Lopez, which was a shock. And then now Comey, he beat down. He was impressive there. And Ortiz, he was pretty impressive too, but he didn't put those guys away. Comey's a tough dude. That was a really good fight. And I don't know, but Lomachenko has the ability, and we'll talk about the keys to victory, I'm sure. But at the same time, I mean, Lomachenko is going to have to make Haney very uncomfortable and take him outside. In essence, if you want to make a football analogy, get the quarterback out of the pocket, put him on the run. He's got to make Haney get off balance, not be in position to throw the punches he wants to punch with, what he wants to hit with. Can he handle that? We don't know, because I don't think anyone's ever pressed Haney that way before.
Well, real quick, Coach, before you real quick, just to piggyback off of what Drew said, or to reply. Yes, he wasn't world beaters against Ortiz, but he took two and a half years off out of the ring, and that was because he was fighting in the war, so we got to give him props there. But also, we know that Devin Haney has a clear-cut reach advantage. And Coach, Drew and I he knows how I feel about that. I hate the way they do the reach advantage in boxing, because they go across the back from fingertip to fingertip. That's not how you throw punches. No. I wish they'd go from armpit to the end of fist, but hey, they don't. However, so we know he has a clear height advantage, Haney. We know Haney has a clear reach advantage. I'm not so sure Haney is significantly faster than Lomo. I'm not sure of that. We know he's a great technician, but I'm not significantly sure he's extremely faster than Lomo. And Lomo hasn't taken a whole lot of punishment in his year. You know what I mean? So he doesn't look like the typical 35-year-old. Not to me, at least. You know what I mean? Not to me, at least. And to be honest with you, fellas, again, if we were taking present day Haney against Lomo 4 years ago, if you told me Lomo was a 7-1 favorite, I'd believe it. I think if he was getting Loma, only because of Lomo's age is why a lot of people are saying Haney's going to win. Haney's going to win. But I'm not so sure about that, man. I'm not so sure. We'll see though. Like I said, we're going to get into it, and we'll get into it here in a minute.
Well, we're going to be breaking down some keys to victory here in a few. Did either one of you guys see the Teofimo Lopez Lomachenko fight?
Yep.
Lomo gave away too much.
What happened?
Lomo gave away too many of the early rounds. Lomo is a slow starter, in my opinion. But what do you think? I think if you tell me Lomo gave away the first 5.5 to 6 rounds, I'd have believed it. I mean, literally just gave away. And coach, if that fight had been 15 rounds, like when Ali and those guys fought, if it had been a 15-round fight, Lomo wins that fight. But it went 12, and he just gave up too many of the early rounds, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
That's
exactly what happened. I thought, I honestly, I think he, and then based on that, you gotta interpret that he underestimated him. I think he thought he was going to be able to put him away. And Lopez, to his credit, is a little bit tougher than that. He's a good fighter, very good fighter. I wouldn't call him elite or great, but he's a very good fighter. And yeah, you can't do that. There's a mistake.
But it also spoke volumes to me that Timo didn't get to take that rematch. Normally the champ has a rematch clause. Lomo never got his rematch. I don't know, and I find it hard to believe that Lomo would run from anything. He ran to war. You know what I mean? He ran to literal war.
Yeah.
I think that was Timo who didn't want that rematch. That's me.
I agree. Good point.
Well, would you say then, if we're going to get into keys to victory, for Devin Haney to retain his title, is it taking care of business those first 5-6 rounds?
Fellas, again, I hate to be that dude, but it's so hard for me to say that because Lomo didn't lose it in the ring. But all right, we'll give Haney his proper title. You know what? I think the key to this fight, honestly, is just like real estate: location, location, location. If Haney can keep him on the outside, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be a boxing clinic, but he'll outpoint Lomo. If Lomo, as a southpaw, is going to come in most likely behind that double jab, hit the body, this, that, whatever, and can get in and fight it in a phone booth, it's going to be something to watch. It's going to be something to watch. It's going to be just like Ryan Garcia against Tank. Ryan Garcia took a hard shot. Things started changing. And we saw him. Haney's been rocked once, and I think like I said, Jorge Leonardo's rocked him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough to, like that time, Ryan Garcia got knocked down, but came up and won. But when he got knocked down against Tank, it was different. He didn't get up and respond the same way. That was different. And I think if Lomo puts them paws on Haney, in which Haney's never felt, and then he's still there 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds pushing the fight, I don't know if Haney can bet. We'll see, because he's never been tested like this, so it'll be a good one.
Interesting. Lomachenko gets inside. Mm-hmm. It's going to get weird. It's going to get weird for Haney. That's what it sounds like to me. Drew, how does Lomachenko win this fight?
I see it very similar to the way Chops described it. He has to get. Now here's the key. Haney, everything's predicated off the jab for Haney, and as it should be as a textbook fighter. Being a southpaw, it's going to be a little difficult, especially if Loma can get his footwork right, and like you say, Chops all the time, get that inside positioning on that lead foot. That's going to be the key. Now, another thing I hadn't thought much about, and I'm concerned about. You're always concerned about headbutts when you've got two guys fighting. One's orthodox, one's southpaw. There's always a concern for that. I don't think either really leads with their head, so I'm hopeful we don't see that, because you hate to see a fight end like that. But absolutely, Lomachenko's got to get inside. He's got to do damage there, and if he gets inside, he will. So to me, the big question marks are: has Loma lost a step? Yes or no? If the answer is no, Haney's in for a long night. If he can get inside, he's definitely in for a long night. Now, here's the caveat: this is boxing, and they're fighting in Vegas. Yeah, and Haney is 24 and Loma's 35. We've seen this before. I think back, Triple G against Canelo, huge age advantage. Fight was lopsided as hell. I'll talk about it till my dying breath, and it was a travesty. It was called a draw. Yeah. I truly believe Devin Haney is the fighter that Vegas wants to win. He's favored. He's a 250 plus 250 favorite to win this fight. But again, everything's got to work out exactly the way you described it, Chops. He's got to establish the jab. He's got to keep Loma at bay. He's got to keep busy and scoring. If he does that, he'll win the fight on points, and a lot of people are going to say, well, that sucked. It's kind of like you said, it's what it is. That's what
it'll be a boring fight.
Exactly.
Here's my thing. If we see a headbutt, I think that's a problem for Haney, and here's why. You're a taller fighter. You should never come down to your opponent's height. Never. So if they butt heads, that means he's coming down to Loma's height. He is protecting his body more, thus maybe leading with his head, but that means Loma is digging that body. That means those jabs aren't working. Everything you do on the bag is not working, here with Loma. And again, fellas, here's the thing. You don't know what you don't know. And we don't know. Haney doesn't know how he's going to react when that dog Loma comes at him. He just, because here's the thing. Foreman was a great example of it. The last thing to go in an aging fighter is his power. The last thing to go is his fight. We know Loma's never going to lose that dog. We know he's going to come with the heart of a lion. He's going to throw those heavy punches. We know he is. Now, my thing is, how soon does it start? And also, fellas, real quick, let's not forget, Jamie Ortiz was, again, that was 2 years, like you said, removed from the ring that Loma fought. But Ortiz was a sparring partner for Loma for years. So they didn't need that filling out process. They knew each other. So that's why Ortiz was able to start banging from him from the beginning. There's going to be a filling out process in this. However, are these lights too big for Haney? He's never been under these lights with this fighter. Never. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We will see, fellas. We'll see. Whew.
You guys are awesome with this, and I get some serious vibes when with this prediction of who's going to win and when and how they're going to do it. Drew, you're a little more guarded. You've got you're guarding your hand a little bit. Chops, I got a feeling you're going to go with Loma on this. I'm feeling you're going to go. I might be wrong, but how do you see this playing out? How is it going to go?
I see Loma winning this, and if it goes the distance, Loma will have beaten him up. If Haney gets his hand raised, I think there's going to be some controversy around it. I really do, because everybody he's went the distance with, he's outpointed, he's outclassed. Those opponents could not. I can't say they didn't. They could not, for whatever reason, didn't believe in themselves. His jab kept them away. I don't know, but they could not press the issue. Loma's not going to have that problem. He's not. So
it just sounds like Haney is not going to be able to get that active to be able to do that to him.
Well, don't forget, Haney likes to grab you. He likes to grab if you get in close. Kambosos in both fights allowed him to grab. The other fighters have allowed him to grab. And if you want, once we're off of this, look at Haney's record. He hasn't fought a lot. He hasn't fought any big names. Like I said, Kambosos, but Kambosos isn't a power puncher. Kambosos doesn't throw punches in bunches. Loma is the first one that he's ever like this, fellas. It's going. Loma has been here numerous times. Haney has not. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm interested, but I do. I like if Haney wins, it's going to be controversy and it will be a boring fight. It'll be a boring fight, but I just can't see it. Loma won't stand for it.
Drew, who's going to win? How they're going to do it?
I could see that scenario playing out very easily. I think, in my opinion, that since we've been doing this podcast and covering boxing, this is the toughest fight that we've done for me to call personally. I'm actually going to go the opposite way. I think Haney's going to get his hand raised either via UD or, here's the controversy, majority decision, meaning I think a judge will have a draw. It's going to be a very, very close fight. I believe there will be controversy. And again, it's judging boxing, when you're talking style points, I think you're going to see a fight where people are going to say, well, CompuBox numbers say Haney landed more. But the eye test will tell us that Loma landed bigger shots and more impactful punches. Power punches aside, that percentage could end up even. But Loma's power is significantly better than Haney's. There's no doubt about that. Haney's size, he has a significant advantage there as well. But it's going to be real interesting to see him go. I give Haney a ton of credit for taking the fight. He's one of the few. Tank as well. We're finally seeing some guys that are willing to step to the plate and take on somebody that could actually beat him. And that's where I see it.
Coach, real quick. And Drew just said something he knows bothers me. And I hate to be that guy, but Drew is not the first person I've heard say, I give Haney credit for taking his fight. If you claim to be the best in the world, you've got to fight the best. Mm-hmm. I know I'm spoiled because we saw the Ollie's, the Fraziers, the Sugar Rays, the Haglers, even De La Hoya. If you're a De La Hoya fan or not, he fought all comers. Mm-hmm. These guys nowadays aren't doing that. But when they fight a good guy, we're giving them credit, which to me should be par for the course. But I'm that old stogie, from a different generation who expects the best to fight the best. You know what I mean? So to me, if I'm Loma, if I'm Haney, as soon as Loma put a pair of gloves back on, he should have been screaming from the bell tower, I want Loma. Everybody's saying, I got your belt as being basically a substitute teacher because you gave it up, so I took it. If I claim to be the best, I come here so I can whip you center in front of everybody, God and country. Haney didn't do that. Haney did not do that. And I think he should have. To be the best, you got to beat the best. You got to show it. But again, that's an old head talking.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the age-old one. It's the classic. It's the classic champions kind of creed. Is to have that kind of mantra, and just the even mere discussion of a majority decision or a split decision, and that's drama. That does not happen. That's rare. UDs is how things usually finish if there's not a knockout.
Yeah. And I wasn't even thinking that until Drew put it in my head. I wasn't even thinking about that. Now I'm thinking about this also because he's right. Vegas would want Haney. He's younger. He's faster. He's the size. Oh, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It is that close.
About that.
It is that close. This fight, it hangs in the balance. I think I would be absolutely shocked if Devin Haney got a stoppage in this fight. Ooh. There's some people predicting it, but I would be very surprised at that. I think Loma's best chance is to truly get inside and hurt him. And eventually wear him down. And I just don't like Loma's chances if it goes to the cards. I just don't.
I get that. But fellas, here's Coach Drew. Think about this. We believe the sun is going to rise tomorrow because it has so many times in the past. Loma is coming at you. We've seen him do it. Haney is going to box. I think they're going to do both. Whose will is going to break? Is he going to truly try to? Because you cannot stay behind that jab. Not all 12 rounds with Loma. Not with Loma. You can do that against a Kambosos and some of these other guys. Not against the Loma. Can't do it. Will not be able to do it. You know what I mean? You can't do it. And here's also what bothers me real quick. You guys realize, as Drew and I were talking about this, everybody was up for the Tank and Garcia fight. There wasn't even a belt on the line. When is the last time there has been that much fanfare about a fight that wasn't even a title fight? That's a problem to me, but hey, it is what it is. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow or Saturday night, fellas. I'm ready.
Yep, definitely can't wait.
Well, May the 20th, MGM Garden Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. Devin the Dream Haney defends his unified light heavyweight belt against Vasiliy Lomachenko, the former light heavyweight champion of the world, along with super feather and featherweight. Guys, this is, it's going to be great for the sport if it's a great fight. It's great for the sport if it's a great fight. It's a wonderful sport. It's a classic sport. It's one of the foundational sports of America. Really, I mean, for many, many years, it was one of what was a different big three. And we had these great fights, and we've got a lot of fight sports in the United States that are, have kind of taken to the hurry up and I need it now type of fan. A great fight is hours upon hours of entertainment. And let's hope that we get that this Saturday from Las Vegas between Devin Haney and Vasiliy Lomachenko. For Mike Big Chop Mills and Dave Druzinski, this is Andy Scheel, and you've been listening to the Sports Peninsula Podcast.
This has been the Sports Peninsula Podcast. To subscribe to the podcast, simply click the subscribe button on our YouTube channel's homepage and give us a like. You can also follow our audio podcast on multiple platforms, including Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts, just to name a few. Give us a follow on Twitter. Our handle is @SportsPPodcast to check out our latest releases. Thank you again for watching and listening. Remember, when you want to hear about sports in the great state of Michigan, there is only one Sports Peninsula Podcast.